So there was a rather weird response to last episode, part, whatever you want to call it. I didn't even ask the question. I just ended the part at this screen. Everyone shouted, "Slay the dragon, Tenarium, for you shall smite it." I was going to anyway. It's very odd that loads of people said, "Slay the dragon!" So we're going to slay the dragon. And hope this doesn't go balls up. We've no choice. He draws his sword. Slag draws his chains taut and the crystal columns groan. Now, come on, you're not that good, Gavin. He searches madly for you, calling. He will pull the roof down in his frenzy. Watch him, Tyrone. His breath will blast you, but he can only do it a few times. Then we must all fight. Then all must we fight are his claws and fangs. Oh, only those. Okay. Don't worry, after that brick wall, you've only got to face loads of razors hurtling at you. You separate. Slag rears high in the cavern, his brilliant blue wings spreading. Come close, small beings. I shall sear you, then crunch your bones. That's not very nice. His head snakes back and forth as he follows your movement through his glittering treasure. You suddenly slip on a pile of gold coins. Well, shit. I look like I'm in trouble. Slag crows in triumph as his claws grasp you. You scream in fear as the dragon hoists you into the air. No matter how you struggle, his wicked claws are tight around your body. No, at least buy me dinner first, hurdy-hurdy-hur. Gavin charges with an angry yell as Slag turns to him. The dragon's jaws open, the blue lightning crackles through the cavern. Gavin barely dodges it as it discharges into a pile of gold. Now, I don't know how to tell you all, but when someone is that big, chances are we're fucked. Okay? Like, this is how big I am, and this is how big his fist is. Oh dear. You gasp and close your eyes, afraid to see the battle, but you're too worried and watch again. Gavin dances close with his sword, and the dragon screams as the weapon slashes along his flank. His claws squeeze tighter about you, you fight for breath. Gavin leaps across the cavern behind a pillar. Come out, you worm! The Elven Ranger charges. Lightning splits the air with its blue flash and narrowly misses Gavin. But his face looks up at you in triumph, and you realise what he is trying to do. Get Slag to use all of his energy so that his most powerful weapon will be useless. Right. So wait, do dragons have mana or something that can be spent and used? Oh, God knows. The ranger disappears in the shadows. You squirm to look for him. Chains rattle as Slag drops to the ground, hissing. The blue waters above shimmer. The wickedly sharp talons press about you. Come out or I'll squeeze your friend to death. Don't! But Gavin walks out, his face grim and his sword pointed in front of him. Let her go, Slag. Dragon laughter fills the cavern as Gavin charges. See, when someone laughs at you charging, they're either drunk, clinically insane, or you're going to die. I've been feeling this for a while now, though. Slag rears with a hiss and loses yet another lightning bolt. The ground explodes in front of Gavin. He falls back, knocked down and stunned as the dragon roars in triumph. Watch out! Slag's clawed foot reaches out, but Gavin rolls away, his shirt tearing. He hacks with the sword, and it is the dragon's turn to scream in pain as one clawed toe is chopped off. Okay, so we've got one digit off. Woo! Oh, Lord. The dragon's jaws drop open, and he breathes again. But no lightning comes out, he's out of charge. Gavin yells in excitement at the knowledge, his sword shining. He dances close. As you watch fearfully, he and the dragon weave in a dance of death. The dragon cries again and again, and his claws and fangs snatch at Gavin but miss, and the silver sword strikes again. Slag suddenly turns his attention to you, his fangs gleaming close. The spiteful dragon intends to swallow you. Spiteful? I'm not sure that's the right word to describe the dragon. He's evil. I don't think spite comes into it much. He brings you to his jaws and you feel your body begin to slide from his grip into his cavernous mouth. Gavin! The ranger takes a running leap, his sword held with both hands. As he crashes into the dragon's body, he drives the weapon deep into Slag's throat. Does that mean he can't use his lightning bolt power now? With a hiss and a thrash, the blue dragon topples. You are breathless as you are thrown to the ground. Breathless? I'm amazed I was still breathing. That is a lot of blood. It's everywhere. Somehow not here, though. This is fine, but this not much so. Also, I mean, I know this bit here, I think that... Is that supposed to be treasure? Because if it's treasure, it's a very sick vomit-looking colour. Clearly, it's all what the dragon ate wasn't too tasteful. Slag's tail lashes one last time and the dragon dies. No one had thought to do that before. They just locked him up cruelly. They could have just killed him. That was so much easier. You look for Gavin, but can't see him anywhere. He must be buried under Slag's body. As tears stain from your face... Oh, for fuck's sake. He crawls out. Joyfully, he pulls you free from the dragon's claws and holds you tight. The cavern is suddenly very quiet after all the hissing and roaring. Are the orcs going to come up? Orcs? No. There is a great clamour at the far end of the cavern. A herd noise is headed your way. Gavin pulls you behind a pile of crowns and rings and other beautiful things as you watch. Spears at their back, the caravanners are pushed forward, their hands tied by the band of orcs shoving them in. They were only going to do that now? Like minutes? But if I went the other route, it's tomorrow! Slag, here is dinner! What? What? So depending on what tunnel I take, it changes when things are done? Right. The orc leader joins his cowardly orc mates in the tunnel, and they run away before the dragon can get them, unknowing of his fate. The dazed caravanners stumble around the cavern before they spot Slag and cry in fear. You and Gavin appear and comfort them, and then they see that the dragon is dead. Ranth hugs you both, grateful tears in his eyes. I'd fucking hope so! Take that tunnel out and we'll follow. We're following. Before the orcs can learn that Slag is dead, you run for your freedom through the twisting tunnels. As you reach the surface and fresh air, Gavin grabs you and twirls you, his face alight with happiness. Come back with me. That's not a question. His face still looks weird. He smiles and suddenly he's like, he wasn't very attractive to begin with, but he smiles and gets even worse so. No, and neither is this. Alright, this isn't a fucking broken head injury. They are kissing. Also, I mean, I'm not an expert on freckles in any shape or form of the word, okay? I'm not ginger. And they're the only people who have freckles. I know that's true. I read it on Reddit. I joke as if I go on Reddit. But, I mean, there are freckles there. In this small sort of 1.5 thirds of the face. Yes, half is just a little below that. 1.25 thirds of the face. And then the rest of it is just like wonderful and smooth and silk-like. Is that how skin works? And he kisses you soundly while the caravanners murmur happily. It appears your adventuring days are over for the moment. There are a lot of stories being cut short. I'll tell you what this game feels like so far. I presume there are longer stories than that, right? But it feels like an introduction. It's like something you'd see on CBBC. No, yeah, CBBC at night, where they start telling a story. I think it's that. And it's always 5 and 10 minutes long, and they just, like, skip over most of the important things, and then we're like, oh, what happened after? It ended! Alright. I wonder what happens if... What happens if we go past the dragon? It'll just eat us. Alright, in this case, because, I mean, we find the walls regardless, so, right, hang on. I'll show you what I'm going to do, but I'm going to skip there first. Now, last time, we picked this one, and that's the wolf one. And we're not getting anywhere with that. We're just getting introductions, and very hasty love endings. But, this one and this one should be different, right? This one's probably the right one? So we're going to take this one, because this is the balls to the wall answer. Trail the orcs on your own. Balls to the wall, lads. The sun hits your blade. I'll see them roast before I quit. This is just, you know, the day after we wake up, remember? Do you remember that? I remember that. And, you know, Daddy's dead and, you know, the orcs have taken bloody blah. I see. Well, the heart filled with the need for vengeance feels little else. I will not help you with your quest. Cold elf. Disregarding his earlier words, you pick up your pack and a few items left. Arrows, oil for your weapon, a water skin and a package of the dry, mealy journey cakes. You break into a jog, following the faint trail on the sands. You sense Gavin behind you. Despite your distrust, you wish that he had come along. You don't wish to be alone in the wilderness. Yeah, this is a balls to the wall answer, but already it's giving us the sort of you done fucked up text. Also, you found his face not unpleasant to look at. I'm a woman. I have one thought on my mind. It is men. Gavin comes up beside you. This is foolishness, Tyrone. What if the orcs double back? Then I'll fight them that much faster. And when you run out of water, then I'll dig pits in the sand and hope they gather moisture, or that of the orcs, and I meet sooner. You look over at his moving and stride with you. You notice that your head barely tops his shoulders, though you are not tall for a human. He is terribly tall for an elf. Yeah, I got that, like the 4 times we've cuddled and kissed him. Forget that. You've scolded yourself. This isn't about him. I won't leave anybody to the mercy of the orcs. I've got to rescue the caravanners. He says nothing in answer. He paces you. The hot sun doesn't seem to bother him as he runs lightly over the rocks and sand. You, on the other hand, begin to regret your brashness. Your head has begun throbbing. Where you were hit, it pounds with every step you take. Besides, you have more problems to worry you. Though you won't admit it, you fear the water skin you've picked up is empty. But you don't want to slow down. The last thing you want to do is tell Gavin you were wrong. This is definitely a death path. This is not the right way to go. We're not being rewarded for balls to the wall attitude. Should you risk being sent home or admit you're having difficulty? Alright. Smiters, gather round. Look. What do you think we're going to do? Do you think we're going to tell him we're in pain? Or do you think we're going to put our testicles upon the wall and go onward? Balls to the wall, lads. Tough it out! You stop and remove your light helmet, wiping your brow. You will die before you will admit you can't keep up. That's probably what we're going to do. Balls to the wall. Are we just going to end up in the same place? Okay, this looks a little worse. Your head throbs in the sun. Gavin eyes you curiously, but he doesn't say anything. The terrain of the wastes is broken here, very rocky, with small hills that block out the horizon. You perch on a boulder so that you can re-braid your hair, giving you a chance to rest. Let me hold that. He takes your helmet for you. You waste as much time as you can to rest, and when you stand to move off again, your father's cloak falls to the ground. He picks it up. Give that back! You snatch it from his hands. I was only trying to help. Yeah, you were, to be fair. I'm sorry, but it's all I have left now. I know I'm sorry too. Why are you sorry? But you mustn't think that's all your father gave you, Tyrone. All that you are and much that you will be, you owe to his teaching. Your pride, your grace, your... He stops and looks away. Suddenly you sense that he is embarrassed. Gavin, what were you about to say? Nothing that I have a right to. I too have my parents to thank me for what I am. Half human, half elf. My father has drilled it into me that I must think elven, not human. I can only hope you had a kinder father. Was he about to say I was attractive? Because do we remember what our dad looked like? He looked like a knob. He stops confused. You have never thought what it must be to have 2 families and yet neither. You put your hand on his shoulder and try to think of something comforting to say. It's fine. In other game worlds, everyone else is racist towards you. Oh, that's not what we're going to say. His face bends closer to yours. You look into his deep violet eyes and Wish you knew how to kiss. You think he is going to. For fuck's sake! What is it with this game? Oh my god! Come on now! This is absurd! Ugh. No matter what we do, even if we disobey him and then disobey him again and tough it out, we still end up kissing him. Oh, love of God, I'm not even reading that. With a crash and a clang, the piece is broken by the shouts and thumps of orcs. Gavin grabs his sword hilt. They've doubled back. The rocks hide you, but only for a moment. Orcs hate elves with a passion and will attack on sight. This battle could be the end of your quest for vengeance. Should the two of you stand and fight, or have you a better idea as you grasp your father's cloak of concealment? Do I have a better idea? Okay, what happened the last time the cloak... I hid under the cloak. Oh, that was it. I died. Attack the orcs, balls to the wall. You pull your sword. As a sword daughter, you can't do anything else but fight to avenge Hamroth. Ah. If this doesn't end up in Gavin dying, I don't know what will.